Hello and welcome to Take 6. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Smates in for Julie Broughton. She'll be filling in this evening for New 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. So she's got a long night ahead of us, so here we are today. We've got a lot of stories to get to today. We're going to be talking about Epic Universe. Of course, we are just a few weeks away from the opening of that massive theme park, and it is going to be bringing a lot of business to Central Florida, not just at the park itself, but all around that area. So New 6 anchor Lisa Bell will show us what's being built up around there, and then we'll go a little deeper with our theme park expert Haley Coombs. We're also following a story from overnight, a deadly officer-involved shooting in Orlando. A gentleman was reported as having a weapon. Deputies said they were forced to open fire, but ultimately it was discovered that the weapon was not a real gun. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes, but before we get to all of that, we are talking about the weather. The forecast for the weekend is looking wet, something we haven't been able to say in quite some time. For more on that, we are joined by the one and only Michelle Morgan. Michelle, how are you doing today? Oop, hold on a second. My fault. I had your mic down. Can you hear me now? All right, here
I
we
can
go.
hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, there we
Okay,
go.
perfect.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So again, how are you doing today?
No, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm very excited for the rainfall that we'll be getting this weekend. We certainly need it. It's been super dry across Central Florida. Everything is crispy. We've been dealing with burn bans, drought, everything, you name it, we've been dealing with it. So it's a refreshing change, especially with the weather bringing some rain to Central Florida. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So right now we are pretty quiet for most of us, but I am tracking a few isolated showers making its way onshore. You can see scattered rain, hit or miss, over parts of northern Brevard County, or really Brevard County, staying south of Rockledge, and that will continue to move north and west across the area. These will be very short-lived, quick downpour, and that's it. But as we take a live look outside here in downtown Orlando, a gorgeous shot here. We are seeing some cloud cover, so that's going to help a little bit with the heat. Just make sure you're using the sunscreen, because even though we are dealing with plenty of clouds, the UV index is still very high. So that means you can burn very quickly if you're out in the sun too long. So we are looking at 82 degrees. Winds are light and bearable for the most part, but we are getting wind gusts out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour, but along our coastline a little bit stronger. I'll show you in a little bit. But as we take a look at your current temperatures, everyone here in the lower 80s, Claremont, Leesburg, 85 in the Villages, upper 70s in Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach due to those isolated showers and downpours, cooling things down for them a little bit, and then 82 degrees out in Daytona Beach. So here are your wind speeds. You can see sustained here out of the east, southeast, between 10 to even 16 miles per hour. And those winds a little bit, again, not as strong across our inland spots, but as we take a look at your planner for today, just so you can plan your day accordingly, it's going to be a nice day. 20% shot for isolated showers, daytime high of 89 degrees, so it will be quite hot across Central Florida. Now, forecast highs 89 in Leesburg, Claremont, 90 in the Villages and Wildwood, and we're staying in the lower 80s along our coastline. Now, your forecast lows, we will be mild. We're looking at upper 60s in Orlando, Kissimmee, stretching all the way to Sumter County and Wildwood, 66, and then lower 70s in Brevard County. That includes Melbourne, Cocoa Beach, as well as Cape Canaveral there. Now, I do want to talk about the burn bans because they're still in place. Just make sure you are following the criteria here if you live in any of these counties that have the burn bans in place. So that includes Sumter, Lake, Seminole, as well as Volusia, stretching into Polk, as well as Osceola and Brevard counties. And as we take a look at the drought situation here, again, it is super dry out there. And unfortunately, last update, which was yesterday, it really hasn't improved. It's actually worsening. We are still looking at a medium to high fire danger risk across Central Florida, and there's the latest information. You can just see a swath of red on your screen. That includes Sumter, parts of Lake, Volusia, even Marion County under that extreme drought. So it is very dry out there. We haven't been getting the measurable rain we need. We are in our dry season right now, and typically the dry season comes to a halt at the end of May, which is right around the corner to the beginning of hurricane season, which is the beginning of June. So very dry out there. Make sure you're watering your plants. But the great news is that we will get to give our sprinklers a bit of a break this weekend because of the incoming rain. So let's go ahead and talk about that rain. We'll go hour by hour. So for today, few isolated showers are possible through the evening hours. Many of us will miss out on it. As we go through tonight into your Saturday, I do think things will remain mainly dry. We'll see clouds continue to increase. Then we get the sea breezes going during the afternoon hours, and then a few isolated on and off showers are possible closer to sunset. So I would say around 7, 8 o'clock, all thanks to the sea breeze collision. Sunday night looks nice and dry, or excuse me, Saturday night looks nice and dry, but then Sunday morning, it'll be a dry start as the day progresses. Once again, the same setup where we'll see the sea breezes collide, and then right along that boundary, we'll begin to see showers and a few thunderstorms embedded with that along our coastal spots. So right now we're around 6, 7 o'clock. On and off showers are possible through the remainder of Sunday night. Then we get a break, dry start to our Monday, plenty of clouds, and then look at this. Once again, the sea breeze is going. We see that swath of scattered rain, a few embedded thunderstorms, and then a few of those thunderstorms will have the capability of producing heavy rain at times. So as of right now, here's the latest projected rainfall across Central Florida, 1 to 2 inches for many of us. That includes Kissimmee, Orlando, Sanford, Palm Coast, Daytona Beach. 2 to 3 inches for parts of Brevard County, so that includes Cape Canaveral all the way down to Melbourne. I do think the lesser amounts will be out in Lake County, so Leesburg, Claremont, Mascot, the villages, and then also 1 to 2 inches out in Ocala, Gainesville. So it just really depends on where that boundary will take place right along that sea breeze collision. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. A few isolated showers today, mainly dry conditions, high of 88, 89. Now on Saturday, there are so many events happening across Central Florida, and most of them are happening in the morning. I do think you'll be fine. Rain chances go up to 30% during the afternoon. Again, hit or miss. It'll be hot with a high of 89, so just make sure you're using the sunscreen and staying hydrated. That's really important. And then on Sunday, we're looking at rain once again in the forecast, a 60% now. This will be until the afternoon hours. It's not going to be a complete washout, but some spots will get a good soaking rain, and we certainly need it. And then Monday, once again, we're looking at that same setup where showers and storms will begin developing across Central Florida during the afternoon hours. And then after Monday, a few showers possible Tuesday morning, and then we're dry for the rest of the week. But then look at that on Thursday. The heat will return. We're back in the upper 80s and lower 90s as we wrap up the work week next week, Thomas.
Yeah, it's nice for us to get this shot of rain, but clearly the dry season's not quite done yet. But, you know,
not at all.
We'll take what we can get.
Yeah, and especially when you see the drought monitor and it just keeps getting redder and it just keeps getting worse. And you're like, oh my goodness, where's the rain? We need the rain. So many of us will get that this weekend. So give your sprinklers a break. If you need to mow your lawn, do it early because the rain will be coming during the afternoon hours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your time and your expertise. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. Now we're going to turn to a story that we've been following since it first broke last night. A deadly officer-involved shooting in Orlando. Orlando police were called to an apartment complex. They said that a man was reported to have a weapon, ultimately resulting in officers opening fire, although investigators now say that that was not, in fact, a real gun. News 6's Angie Casado has been out at the scene all morning long. She's been speaking with witnesses and got new surveillance video of the event as it happened.
We now know the man killed in Thursday night's police shooting is 25-year-old Orlin Manuel Bueso Calderon. We've also obtained surveillance video from a dry cleaner nearby, showing the moments just before the confrontation. This is the video from Royal Touch Cleaners, just off Conway Road. The store's owner says Orlin Calderon walked in holding what looked like a black handgun.
We sit down here doing our business, and then there's a guy walking out in front of the shop with an orange shirt, with a gun, like, appeared to be. I'm like, what happened? And then other people here, they came up to the shop, mumbling, pulling a gun. That was my friend, said, get the hell out. So he came out with a gun, doing his thing, dropped the gun, pick it up.
Surveillance shows Calderon lingering near the counter before walking out.
Drop the gun!
Two sisters, Eileen and Lynn, saw everything unfold just steps from their apartment at Bella Vita off Conroy and Vineland Road.
When he came into the complex, the cops said
go down, drop the gun, and he wouldn't put it down, so they had to do what they had to do. They shoot him. It was so fast, it's so quick. It's like I was behind my husband. I was looking, but when I heard the shotgun, I was, I got scared,
Police officers gave Calderon multiple commands in English and Spanish. He refused to drop the weapon, which turned out to be a BB or pellet gun.
It's a very dangerous situation. The officers put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe, and it's a split-second decision when you see somebody point a gun up in your direction. The officers have to make a split-second decision.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is now handling this investigation. Those 5 officers involved are now on administrative leave, and as of yet, we have not heard when that body cam footage will be released or if mental health played a factor in this shooting. Of course, we'll be pushing for those answers. In Orlando, Angie Casada, News 6.
First responders in Volusia County spent their morning undergoing a special training to help them in any situation that may involve a water rescue, especially as it pertains to kids. News 6's Mark Lehman was out there on the beach this morning, following those first responders and taking in what they were doing to keep you safe in the water.
It happens every day on the beach. Lifeguards spot a person struggling in the water and rush in to help. But this situation is no cause for alarm. Instead, it's an opportunity to learn by simulating a child drowning.
Why is something like this so important?
It is so critical to train with the people that you will be working with in an emergency situation.
Volusia County Beach Safety working with several other first responders and hospitals. It's happening as Florida ranks 5th in the nation for drownings. This large-scale exercise giving each agency perspective.
Anything that saves time, effort, and works as a team is going to be best for our kids' outcome.
And what they're doing is bringing the victim in what you call a Hawaiian drag.
Once the patient is on shore, lifeguards perform CPR and paramedics prepare the child for transport.
In a situation like this, we'll try to get them on the stretcher and get them out of here and to the hospital as fast as possible.
As the patient is loaded up in the ambulance, we have teams with Arnold Palmer and Beach Safety talking about what happened, working through that collaboration and what's next.
So it goes from water all the way through the emergency room, and everybody that has a touch on the patient.
Dr. Don Plumley says training like this gives valuable insight to everyone involved and can make a big difference in saving a life.
It's almost like muscle memory. You know what to do, and that's really helpful to them. But the team did a great job. I'm super impressed.
Now, this is just one of 3 scenarios first responders are working through today. After everything is wrapped up, they say they'll talk about the successes and failures and use that knowledge to hopefully improve response times this summer. In Volusia County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
The new jobs report came out earlier today, and it was slightly better than expected. However, despite that, we're still seeing what could be a rough job market, especially for kids who are going to be graduating college and entering the job market this year, this spring. And we're already starting to see those graduations right here in Central Florida. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison got a chance to speak with CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger about the jobs report and what that means for college students who are now entering the job market.
All right, we have Jill Schlesinger with us this morning to talk about the jobs report that was just released for April, and CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger joining us here to break down those findings. Now, Jill, what are these results looking like?
Well, they're better than expected. The economy produced 177,000 jobs. Analysts were thinking maybe 130,000. Now, the previous 2 months, they were revised lower by a total of 58,000 jobs. But really, for the last 6-8 months, the job creation numbers have been solid. You know, nothing terrible, a little slowdown from like the height of the great hiring frenzy that we saw after COVID. The unemployment rate remains at 4.2%. Average annual wages up by 3.8%. This is good news because it's more than a full percentage point ahead of the inflation rate. So that really does help households.
And you know, we have a lot of college students around us. It's graduation season. We had some here in the newsroom just yesterday, but what's the job market looking like for class of 2025?
Well, I think it's going to be a pretty tough season. We have a report out from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they're telling us that hiring expectations have fallen pretty substantially from their autumn survey. Now, obviously, There are not going to be a lot of government job openings, but there is a slowdown in hiring in a lot of industries like media or finance or tech. That's not to say there are no jobs, it's just a lower number than we've seen in the last couple of years. Also, these new graduates, they're competing with recent grads. Some of those who are, say, 22 to 27, many of those folks have lost jobs within the past 6 months. So the labor pool of those young college graduates, it's starting to increase. And I think the best advice you can give to any of those folks looking for a job is, you know, kind of skip the dream job, the great job. How about a job, get your foot in the door, preferably one that has a 401k match and some health insurance, and work your way up from there, because again, I think it's going to be a competitive period of time here.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you, Jill. Always great to see you as always. And you can see Jill regularly on CBS Mornings, as well as CBS Evening News, as well as many other places online.
I think Jill's grimace there as we asked her the question about the future job market kind of tells the whole story. In any case, we'll be coming back in just about 2 minutes. We're going to be speaking with New 6 theme park expert Haley Coombs about what is going up around Epic Universe and all the extra businesses going to be bringing to Central Florida. We'll also get an in-depth piece from New 6 anchor Lisa Bell all about that. That'll be coming up again in just about 2 minutes.
Universal is not the only company cashing in on Epic. Other companies are already opening nearby resorts. Villatel Orlando just opened this spring. It is located just off International Drive, right in between the new Epic Universe property and Universal Orlando. Now, it's a mix of more than 500 villas and apartments for people looking for something a bit bigger than a typical hotel room, with their own 6-acre water park.
Got a little candy theme.
Oh, this is so cool. Stepping inside one of the new villas at Villatel Orlando.
When you first come in, you've got a combo arcade and theater.
Is more like stepping into your own mini theme park.
Sorry, I just have to play this a little bit.
Just steps from the new Epic Universe.
Look at how good I am, too.
The resort features a mix of 2 to 9 bedroom units, some accommodating up to 26 guests with private pools.
So this is not like your typical resort. The rooms here are very spacious and really seem geared toward families.
They are. So, North I Drive has not been a place known for its large format hospitality.
Brock Nicholas is the developer.
Most of the hotel rooms on iDrive were built around the convention center traffic, which has been here many decades, and it has developed 40 or 50,000 really small individual corporate hotel rooms.
Nicholas first set sight on this 80-acre property back in 2017.
And at the time, did you know that Epic Universe was going to be happening?
So we didn't know that the name of it was Epic, but we did know that the parent company had purchased some land from Lockheed Martin and was planning a mega park on just the other side of Sand Lake.
Fast forward 8 years, the $500 million resort seems to be opening at the perfect time.
We did open the water park March 14th. We opened our first round of the Apartments by Marriott Bonvoy also in March. By May 22nd, when Epic opens, we'll have the next couple buildings online. And by the end of this year, this entire campus will be 100% done, no more construction, just all guest fun and family.
From a lazy river and water slides to shaded pickleball courts and playgrounds, Nicholas said they took Central Florida's climate and impacts on nearby roads in the Tangelo Park neighborhood into consideration.
Now, these are some of the apartments over here?
They are.
And so on some of the higher floors, you can actually see Epic Universe from your room.
You can. When you get 30 or so feet off of the ground here, Epic Universe is just 2 blocks away to our south.
And one of the things that you're also offering is transportation.
Separating this resort campus from the front door of Epic Universe, or I say the north boundary, is a residential community. And so we took feedback and we were very careful to make sure not to dump traffic into that residential neighborhood.
So you have shuttles to Disney, SeaWorld, Epic.
We do. Desertland right next door, so shopping and adventure nearby. And then, of course, all the attractions of Orlando.
For more information on the resort, look for this story on clickorlando.com.
We're joined now by our theme park expert, Haley Coombs. Haley, I have to imagine that although we only featured the one, this is not the only large resort that's popping up in and around Epic Universe.
No. In fact, I know, just seeing all these pieces about the development, I mean, yeah, we are seeing the Epic ripple effect take effect, aren't we? Because, and going off of what that developer was saying about how they want to be more of a family destination. I mean, that's been the whole vibe with Universal and expanding. But yes, going into businesses, we've got restaurants, even like the Light Bites, there's a White Castle opening nearby on Universal Boulevard. There's Raising Cane's, and not to mention its neighbor, Icon Park, which of course is investing in more entertainment and restaurants and nightlife options. So it's amazing to see how much they're trying to get the piece of the pie with with Epic Universe opening, and the fact that it is open is just now we have the grand opening just weeks away.
Yeah, and as you said, there's a lot of businesses in that area that are banking on the extra foot traffic from Epic Universe. But something that may be a little antithetical to that is the fact that Epic Universe and Universal and in general, they're trying to keep people on park property as much as possible, correct?
Yes. In fact, CEO of Universal Destinations, Mark Woodbury, has said in these months leading up to Epic Universe's opening, we want to be the first pick, and how can we do that? Well, the fact that now that they have 11 resorts, they've expanded their catalog, and of course, 3 of them are close proximity or right on property to Epic Universe. And so that right there just to show you that, yes, they are hoping to move this needle, get people to realize, get families particularly to realize that they are not just a one day, they are a vacation destination. So this was actually footage of Helios Grand when I went there last month, and I was very, very amazed by just the landscape and everything over there. But yes, the fact that you have a theme park as an amenity, I mean, even though all these other resorts that are opening up that are not Universal, for those looking to just be in the back door, it has to be appealing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're staying at the Helios Grand, it looks like the park is your backyard, essentially. Just walk out the door and a few steps later, you're there. I mean, that's got to be an attractive option, although, as we saw from Lisa's package, there are going to be transportation opportunities for people who are, staying off-site.
Yeah, and the fact that there's another hotel in that area over on Universal Boulevard. I saw there was IHG hotel opening up that's near Celanova Resort, and the fact that you have this close proximity, even foot traffic. You can walk there essentially. I know from the Celestial hotels right there that have a walking path. So it's not just, it is the whole package of close proximity and of course, even if you're looking for convenience for, pricing, it just depends on your budget. So
yeah, that was literally going to be the next thing I was going to say. All this added competition for hotel space and resort space, that's going to make it better for consumers because people are going to have to be competitive. They're going to have to make some deals.
Yes. In fact, Universal has done a lot with Florida residents. So I would not be surprised if coming late summer, September, when you start to see these package deals about, multi-day packages plus tickets. So historically, that's when the time that you will see is, again, past the peak summer season. And again, that little layover into like the later of the year. So I would not be surprised at all if Universal shells out that. So
yeah, absolutely. And as you said, it's not just resorts or hotel space, it's restaurants, it's retail, it's all sorts of things. We actually have a full guide available on our website, clickorlando.com. Go to clickorlando.com/theme parks for all of your theme park news. So most of it written by our own Haley Coombs. But you can see the full guide there of much of the development that's coming there. As you mentioned, the White Castle, Raising Cane's, Pop Golf, or Pop Stroke rather, all sorts of amenities that people can enjoy when they're coming into Central Florida and the ever expanding now tourism district. So it's going to be a lot to take in. Haley, we're 3 weeks away roughly from the opening of Epic Universe?
Less than 3 weeks, the 21st. Yes.
Wow, yeah. We are going to have so much more coverage in the coming days and weeks about what's going to be coming along with Epic Universe. And again, clickorlando.com/theme parks and In the Loop Theme Park Scoops, Haley Coombs' newsletter. You send that out every Friday, and it just came out a few hours ago, correct?
It did actually a short time ago. Yes, there was a wealth of news today, which again I always say is a good problem. I love to have that problem going into every Friday. And now that we are in heavy Epic coverage, I have obviously more hands helping me with all sorts of angles. So I'm loving it. I really am.
Absolutely. That's great news for us and great news for you. And of course, great news for all of our viewers and readers. So we really hope you'll check all that out. Again, clickorlando.com/theme parks for all your Epic Universe updates. Haley Coombs, thank you so much for your time. And we'll look forward to seeing more of you in the coming days and weeks as we get closer and closer to Epic Universe opening up.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that'll do it for us here on Take 6. We are just about right before 1 p.m., so that is the end of our show. We'll be back for News 6 at 4. Julie Broughton will be filling in for News 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kegas this evening. She'll have your weather and forecast. We will also have, of course, all of the day's headlines and updates and all the stories that we've been following throughout the day. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy your weekend and try to stay dry as the rain is coming back.